guys, welcome back to another video and the first day of cozimas. For the month of December, I will be uploading 12 videos every other day from the 1st till the 23rd. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my bullet journal setup for the month of December, which is a little bit different layout-wise than some of my other setups earlier this year. I hope you enjoy the plan with me. Let's go ahead and get started. I am starting out my setup with my cover page, of course. Let's talk a little bit about my theme. This was another one of the months where I was trying to do a crazy theme. I did it, I didn't like how it turned out, and I had to redo it, so this is the second attempt of me setting up my journal for December. I was actually inspired by myself a little bit by the very first theme that I did this year in January. I'll put a picture on the screen, but I basically did this kind of wintry, woodland, floral fairy theme, I guess, that was 100% inspired by the covers of one of my favorite book series, Emily Wilde. I actually loved how that theme turned out. It was so fun to make, and I think looking back in the year, it's one of my favorites that I've done throughout this year. I was also feeling just very inspired in general by book covers, winter book covers, and I thought it would be fun to do kind of a variation of that theme, very similar style-wise, a little bit different as well. At the end, I will show you a side-by-side comparison on how this one turned out next to my January one, but I think there's a little bit of symbolism there and kind of starting and ending the year in a similar journaling style. So for the setup, I am just essentially doing a winter woodland theme. With the colors that I ended up using, this one did end up looking, I think, a little bit autumnal, which I don't really mind at all. I basically just looked on Pinterest at different artwork, so I was inspired by lots of different book covers, and just basically doodled a bunch of different elements around the page that I'm now going to color in. As far as lettering goes, I've been super obsessed with using ripped paper recently. I feel like I've been doing it in so many of my spreads, especially in my reading journal. So I just took a piece of craft paper, I ripped it up into squares and wrote the letters of December on there, just for a very simple title, but I think it also adds a little bit of dimension to the page. With the rest of the space, I'm just going in with different colors of my zebra mild-liners, just because I love how kind of predictable and comfortable those colors are. They always look good together. While I was setting up my December spreads, I was actually listening to the audiobook of The Winter of the Witch by Catherine Arden. This is the third book in the Bear and the Nightingale series. Actually, I think it's called the Winter Night series. Not to talk too much about books in a journaling video, but this series is super wintry, and I was feeling so inspired, and that was definitely a contributor to why I ended up doing kind of a winter woodland theme. This series is kind of like a historical folk fiction, I would say, with fantasy. It takes place in Russia in the medieval period, I believe, and we basically just follow around all these different magical adventures that our main character is going on in a very kind of folktale way, and I'm really enjoying it so far. I read The Bear and the Nightingale last year, and I kind of liked it. I don't know, I wasn't super into it. I decided to continue the series this year, and I'm so glad I have. If you're looking to pick up that series, or if you're interested in it, I would definitely recommend it for the winter time. And I would also definitely recommend the audiobooks as well. I'm really enjoying them. This is the first day of cozimas, the sort of 12-day video challenge that I'm doing in December. I am so excited for everything that's to come. We have lots of journal setups and flip-throughs and other bookish and cozy vlogs coming. I'm particularly excited to share with you my journal setups for 2025. I am so excited about that. I'm going to be setting up my bullet journal for the new year and also my reading journal. Both of them I've already kind of planned out and I can't wait to see how they look. I'm also really excited to share my bullet journal flip through and my reading journal flip through so you can kind of get an overview of how all of my spreads look now that we're heading towards the end of the year. I'm thinking for 2025 and the new year, I want to kind of step back a little bit and maybe change a couple of things in my bullet journal. I've been transitioning in general this year from using it more as a planner to, in general, just more like journaling and memory keeping, and also just a place for me to draw and be creative. I'm thinking for 2025, I'm going to continue with that trend, though recently I have started using weeklies again to kind of plan things out and write to-do lists for each day, also just to kind of record certain fun activities that I'm doing each day, and that's been really fun as well. I love creating weeklies. But I think I always am trying to do like this crazy, extraordinary theme and setup each month, and it never ends up working out. I always have to redo it because I don't like it. I'm very picky with my setups, and if I don't like it, then I just won't use it. So I'm thinking that I'll try to be a little bit simpler and not anything too crazy, at least for the start of 2025. I really wanted all of my themes to just be very magical and whimsical and fantastical, and I think we've definitely done that. Looking back throughout the year, I've done my woodland theme, I did a witchy apothecary theme, fairy tales, castles, gothic windows, pumpkins, and mushrooms. This has definitely been my favorite year of bullet journaling so far. I think if I were to pick my favorite setups throughout the year, I think I would definitely have to say January, February, maybe May, and probably September with my mushroom theme as well. Overall, it has just been an amazing journaling year. I'm so glad that I documented all the things that happened this year. It was just definitely a crazy year for me in general. I feel like it's so special to be able to document and remember certain parts of my life through art and through words. I don't know, it feels so special to me, and I love having that sort of like physical reminder of everything that happened this year. All of this to say that I'm just really excited to do more journaling in 2025, and honestly for the rest of my life, because journaling is just one of my favorite things in the whole world, and I'm so glad that you guys like watching my setups as well. Okay, I'm now moving on to my final spread for this setup, which is my monthly dashboard. This is a part that I'm kind of changing a little bit from past layouts and setups that I've done so far this year. I just think in general when you're traveling, journaling it's just different. For example, I'm not going to be worried about my habits and my sleep while I'm traveling. That's just not something that I care to track then. So because of that, because I knew I would be out of town for part of December, also it's just the holidays, and I don't know, it just feels different to me this month. It didn't really make sense in my mind to do like a completely separate habit tracker, a completely separate sleep tracker. I also just didn't need all the extra space. I am combining it to create a bit of a monthly dashboard situation, which I did do a couple of times this year. So I basically just did a little mini habit tracker at the bottom and a little mini sleep tracker, only accounting for the first 20 days of the month when I'll actually be here. I'm now just filling in the rest of the space with more of those kind of woodland doodles. As far as like art style, I didn't use any black fine liners or outlines for this setup, which I think is what gives it like such a soft, naturey kind of look. I think this year that has been my favorite style and my favorite setups. I've kind of strayed away from using any sort of outliner, and I've just kind of gone in with colors and done some shading and some blending. I ripped up another piece of paper to do my title, and that is pretty much it for this page and for the rest of my setup. I do still have a decent amount of pages left in my journal, which I am planning on using mainly for travel pages. When I go on this trip, I really just want to document everything. I want to keep like the plane tickets and museum passes and maps and all that sort of thing and just put it in this journal. So I'm hoping that I will fill up the rest of the journal with lots of fun travel collage pages. Anyway though, that is it for my December bullet journal setup. I hope you enjoyed planning with me. I really do love how the setup turned out. I think it feels, I don't know, just very true to me and kind of what I was wanting for this month. I went ahead and showed you just now the side-by-side comparison of my December and January themes for 2024. But that is basically it for this video. I will see you in a couple of days for Cozimas Day 2.